Alright, so for our second lesson, we learned our first chord. We learned two versions of it, but I'm going to show you a few more. And that chord was the G chord. So if you need to review the tuning, how to tune the guitar, and the parts of the guitar and the string names, and we'll get for this chord, the simple chord, simple version of the G chord, you're just going to use kind of the pinch grip that I showed you before for the 1 finger per fret exercise. The thumb is going to go right behind the center of the neck. Your first finger is going to go just behind the 3rd fret of the 1st string, which is the E string. That note is actually the G note. And so when you play this chord, you're only going to play the first 4 strings, the bottom 4, as you look at the guitar. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the G chord, the simple version. And again, just notice as you use your finger, you don't necessarily want to press flat, but you want to lift up on the tip of your finger and use the tip of your finger to press that string down. It'll be hard to get used to, especially as you add more fingers to making your chords. But this is the easy, simplified G chord. So the other chord version of the G chord is just the regular full G chord. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to play it. So the first finger is going to go at the 2nd fret of the A string. Your second finger is going to go at the 3rd fret of the E string. Again, that's the G note. Your third finger is going to go at the 3rd fret of the high E string. So this is kind of what it looks like. And it's going to sound like this. And here you're playing all the strings together. And as you play this, you want to try and get it so that each note sounds clear and you can hear every one of them. And the key to doing that, again, is having that thumb behind the neck and letting your wrist rock forward so you can use the tips of your fingers on the strings. It'll be hard, but once you get used to it and get the hang of it, it'll make the best notes for you. Alright, so the other way, the way that I usually play a G chord when I'm doing praise and worship music on Sunday mornings, is I'll play it a little differently. I'll use my second finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Third finger is on the 3rd fret of the E string, and then I'll use my pinky finger at the 3rd fret of the high E string. Again, my thumb is still behind the neck, but now my first finger is free and loose up here, and the reason that is when I do chord changes, it makes it easier for me to go from, say, a G chord to a C chord like this, and I'll show you that in the next lesson. One more version of the G chord that I'm going to show you is called a G5, and the reason it's called a G5 is because you're adding the 5th note of the G scale to the chord. Don't need to worry about exactly what all that means, but here's what it looks like and sounds like. In this one, I'm using all my fingers for it. Almost doesn't sound too much different, but the difference is that 5th note of the scale that's being added. So I'll show you again real quick. First finger is going to go to the 2nd fret of the A string. Then your second finger onto the 3rd fret of the E string. Your third finger this time is going to go on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then your pinky is going to follow up right behind, and it's going to be on the 3rd fret of the E string. And again, if you use the tips of your fingers, you'll be able to get all the notes to sound, and you play all the strings. Alright guys, have fun with that.